Hey,
Hey, Auntie.
good afternoon. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my lighting straight and everything, baby. I said, hold on.
Woo! To all the
Ooh,
wonderful people out there.
oh, my
Good
goodness.
evening, good afternoon, good night. Marcus, what
Good
up,
evening.
big dog?
Hey, hey, guys. This is Auntie Kim, and I'm here with my co host, my nephew Jamal, and we are back for podcast number 4. And we are continue to be excited to be here and so grateful for your support. And Marcus, thank you for already being up in here. We appreciate you, baby. So I'm sending you hugs and all that. Oh, Jamal, I got to put my belt on. Hold on.
You done messed up. You messed up already.
Okay, I didn't
We
mess
see
up. I
who we
got
gotta
my
get the
belt. It
belt.
be right. It, it was sitting right here. Okay,
Ooh.
I'm good. I'm
Mm-hmm,
ready now.
mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Good.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. See Marcus? This is why I keep the belt on. Listen,
My fault.
let's do a little housekeeping rules here. If you happen to hear any music in the background, we don't own the rights to that. If we did, as I stated last week, we would probably be doing something else if we owned the rights to any music that would be played. Hey, Miss Rami, thank you for being there. That is our executive
Um,
producer and our artistic director. She has checked in with us. Um, the views expressed during this podcast, Get the Belt, are our own, and I will continue to tell you, don't come for me because it's not gonna get you anywhere, and Jamal just gonna laugh at you. So you
pretty
either be
much.
ignored or your feelings hurt, one or the other. But that's pretty much how that is. Again, I just want to say that if you, we would love for you to go out and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Get the Belt. I believe
Mhm.
it's Get the Belt
Yes.
23. Please support us in that area so that we kind of can begin to graph how we're doing and what's going on. We also have a Facebook page, which is also Get the Belt. We would love that support there as well. And that is where most often we'll end up posting our link for the week so that you can join the podcast. Also, we have Instagram, same Get the Belt. If you should choose to email us, it's getthebelt23@gmail.com. And we would love for you to contact us. And if you have a subject that you would like for us maybe to discuss on our next podcast, we're certainly open to reviewing that and
Very much
seeing where
open.
we can go with that. And as
Absolutely.
always, if you would like to mail me a belt, you can do so at P.O. Box 490, Powder Springs, Georgia 30127. Okay, I
Yes.
think I did all the housekeeper stuff. Yes,
Yes, you
I
did.
got it.
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
I'm doing better. You guys just don't know.
Oh, man.
We be in the backdrop talking about okay, and then calling and all that good stuff. So listen, we've got a very important main topic that we want to discuss in the bottom half of our podcast, and that's about relationships, marriage, relationships, partnerships thereof. And so we want to discuss that on the bottom half.
Situationships.
Yeah, ooh, that's a good one. Situationships. That's a lot of times exactly what that is, a situationship. I'm gonna go one better than that hot mess you got yourself into with all them babies. Anyway,
Wait,
I'm
wait.
sorry. What?
Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, I'm listening. Carry on.
Situationships and or hot mess. Okay, but I like situationships. Anywho, let's talk about in the news. So listen, I got a text message from nephew last Sunday night. And he says, "Auntie, look at this," and I'm watching these videos. So let me plant the seed here as we get into this conversation. I'm naming this from the 1995 55 bus boycott to the 2023 Riverfront Brawl. Montgomery, Alabama continues to make history. At this point, we've all seen the videos, and all the memes that have gone out and everything. But let's set the stage for what we understand actually took place which is part of the reason we saw all the videos. We're in Montgomery, Alabama, and the riverboat named the Harriet number 2 is trying to come into port. This is not stuff we understood from last week. They're trying to come into port because they have passengers that have gone out on the river on this boat, and it's now time for them to come in and to dock so that the people can come off the boat and they can either pick up new passengers or dock for the evening. There is a family that has their boat docked where the riverboat should be. And in doing my research, the captain of the boat, so they had this boat, the riverboat, stranded for 45 minutes from the pier trying to get docked. The captain called out over the loudspeaker, I believe no less than 5 times, and requested that the owner of this little pontoon boat, I believe is what it's called, would come move their vessel so that they could dock and get the people off. They did not answer. So the gentleman that we saw that we initially thought was a security guard is actually the first hand on the boat. So he and another deckhand got off the Harriet on a smaller vessel to go in to move that boat out the way. Let's understand this, that in the interview with the sea captain, he says normally boaters are a calm community, and it's nothing that if you're trying to come into the pier to dock and there's a boat, any deckhand or somebody on the ship trying or the vessel trying to come in will go and just kind of move it out the way and everybody's good. No issue. Not with this particular family. So you got us stranded 45 minutes. You won't move. My deckhand comes and gets off the boat to ask you to move your little thing out the way. And that's what he was going to do.
A
And
little
that's
thing
when the
out the way.
fight began. So this is one of the reasons why we have so much footage, because there were like 200 to 300 people on the Harriet sitting there trying to get off the boat, waiting for the little platoon thing to move, and all this ruckus started. Because I couldn't figure. I'm like, where did the footage come from? How are they able to video this? The captain of the Harriet says that this family is. This is not the first time he's had a run-in with them. Maybe about a year or two ago, they stole the golf cart that the Harriet and the pier uses to help get handicapped and older people off the boat and back on land to the office so they can come in. They stole the golf cart and it ended up at a hotel nearby. The police talked the captain out of pressing charges. They probably should have allowed him to do so. So then you've got this brawl. Captain says he don't think it racial. He said he just think they're just simply bad people. However, what I also understand is that once this altercation ended, this group of family and friends attempted to check into a hospital in Selma, Alabama, not far away. And when they got there, because all the staff at the hospital were African American, they opted not to be treated. Instead, because there were a bunch of in there, called the police on the hospital staff. The police get there and said, you either want to be treated or you can leave. And now they have made absolute national news. Um, the three gentlemen have actually turned themselves in. I think they even put out a warrant for the gentleman, the black guy waving the chair. I have a whole new respect for a white folding chair now. I will never look at it the same. Um, but just so our question is, are you that ignorant? Are you that racist? Were you that drunk? That much privilege, or all of the above? That you had to end up on national news because you wouldn't move your boat out the way to allow the Harriet to come into the pier and dock. And the captain said it wasn't that much. They just needed to move back just a little bit. And they wouldn't do that. And then we have what we see. What's your thoughts?
Wow. To
So
love and to look at us all come together and what could happen. Wow.
and
That's just
and
the biggest thing to me. Yeah, go on, go on.
and what the captain was saying, and the captain, of course, is a white guy, and the I understand the black guy is part of his crew member. He said they had just recently been out to Mobile together on a 5 day cruise. He said, so we're family. We work together and do all that together. He said, so I know the guy very well. And he says, but I'm so glad that this didn't end up somebody getting hurt because as I initially looked at it and what I said to you, Jamal, not knowing the circumstances, I'm thinking that if the black guy that we saw was alone, how far would that have gone? But you were so ignorant, I didn't realize you got like 200 people out in the not far from the water watching you cut the fool. Are you serious? Really? But I just are we still that racist? It's 2023. Are we still what? And you mean
What
to
that
tell me
mean?
you're hurt, bleeding, all busted up, but you don't want a black physician and nurse to attend to you
No,
in
no,
2023? Are you
not at all.
serious?
Yes,
Are you
yes.
serious?
They don't care for us. They don't like us. Wise, what's up, bro? Bruh. Um, they don't care for us. They haven't cared for us. It's a taught situation. It is what it is.
It's
Um,
two, but it's
they don't care.
2023.
That what does that mean because of the year you keep saying? Like you think racism is supposed to just leave? No.
But
It'll
it's
be here after you leave. It'll be here after I leave. It'll be here after Libby's generation leaves. It'll be here for the test of time. There are just people that continue to spew hate, for the rest of us, for the rest of our lives. This is unless something drastically changes. Do I think it's getting better? Absolutely, but this ain't going nowhere.
okay.
This not going nowhere in anytime soon. They just coming out a little bit more.
Because
Somebody who used to be a head of this country really helped a lot of them out to expose themselves. So it is what it is on that. Carry on.
okay, so Robert Richards, who's 48, Zachary Shipman, who's 25, and Alan Todd are 23. That's the three that have so far that have been turned in. There was a fourth warrant, and the charges are one count of third degree assault. Todd turned himself in. Reggie turned himself in to the Montgomery police. They looking real stupid in their mugshots, real stupid. Like oddly enough, I'm laughing. The police chief for Montgomery, Alabama, of course, is African American, and that isn't funny, but I don't get it. Just move the damn boat. Just why do you think you're so privileged that you can leave that boat there and not let these people get off? What?
Hey man.
How
Hey.
much
It's a
alcohol y'all
saying,
drinking too? Liquid courage is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
beautiful thing,
Mixed
and
with a
then you
little
see what happened.
mixed with a little racism and,
Congratulations.
and
You
being
played
ignorant.
yourself.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
Stop the cap.
And I just be wondering, like, what makes you
Congratulations.
think
You
that
played yourself.
you can just keep going wherever you want to go? I loved it. I loved the outcome of it. Now, I say it this
Because
way.
we're not
Only,
advocating violence. We're not advocating violence. I'm not advocating violence, Jamal.
yeah,
Jamal,
speak for
we're
yourself on
not.
that.
Okay, we're not.
Yeah, speak
I
for
don't
yourself
advocate.
on that. I advocate violence in the repercussional way. Hey, you continue to mess with us. Enough is enough. You keep acting like you want to be bullies and all that. I'm not. Nah, y'all can speak for yourselves on that. I think people get rightfully what they deserve, especially in that aspect when you sit around there and you continue to try the right ones. I'll just say it that way. I was thinking earlier because people were saying we not our ancestors and stuff like that, as to make it seem as if our ancestors before us
We're
didn't do
passive.
anything as far as fighting.
Correct. Correct.
That's
That.
not the case.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just feel like, throughout our generations and amongst people, it's just getting enough is enough. And a lot of people are getting tired of it. And other people of other communities are starting to see it that way as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Because
but you still got them others.
oddly enough, as I've been trying to track it, so we would kind of have some facts. most of the people who are coming out saying yes, it was absolutely racist. Beside the African American community, have been a lot of white women. People said, because the first interview I saw was from a white woman. She was like, it was just totally uncalled for. Absolutely. And the piece of that I learned about them going to the hospital, she says, the white lady, she says, oh, it was racist because how do you go to a hospital and you hurt and you decide because everybody in there is of color that you don't want to be treated? So I'd rather die than, I mean, they weren't life threatening, but what little community enclave have they lived in? I don't get it.
Hey,
So
take your life in your own hands. Hey,
the one
get it
gentleman
over with faster. Hurry it
had
up.
to close up his store. They've had to shut
Good.
down their social media.
Good.
Just a plethora of things. But I'm I guess I shouldn't say that I'm surprised, but to be that racist and that privileged, and people saying, yeah, people are losing patience. Yeah, absolutely. And again, evidently they've been known for this behavior, which
Been known. It
yeah,
just caught up to him this time.
you yeah. Um, but they get to live under a different protection than we do, because
Absolutely.
when they stole the golf cart, that was personal property. But the police at that time said, you don't really want to press charges. So they felt they got away with something. And they probably been continuing because they said the captain said when he saw the boat, he knew exactly who it was. They come there all the time, but there's always have been some issue with them.
Oh
And when
well,
you allow it, at this time, privilege ran out. It ran its course.
big time. Big
It
time. Hey,
it
y'all
ran its
continue to
course.
do, you continue to do it and act like nothing is going to happen to you because of, like you said, being privileged.
Congratulations.
It is what it
Played
is.
yourself.
I could care less about it. Oh well. Oh well, I'm not going to hold my breath on them. Ha ha. Got what you, now, this is the only part. This is the only part. I've watched it enough. It's the only part that I don't, after thinking about it, is the lady who got hit with the chair. That part is unnecessary. Regardless of what she did, and somebody put it in this perspective to me. What if that was my mom? You know what I'm saying? What if that was Rami? What if that was Libby? Somebody, you, to get hit. Like, and I see that,
Was she part of the group that was fighting though?
probably.
But you're still
But
saying she shouldn't have gotten hit with the chair.
not the chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only one I'm like,
I have
yo.
never seen a folding chair ever. I've been in church all my life, the picnics, the
Yeah,
weddings.
yeah.
I have never seen, and the chair did not break.
Right. But I'm just
I have
saying,
never,
as a man to sit and watch one of your loved
I,
ones, a
yeah.
female, get smacked with a chair. Yeah, man.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that's that night I had to go in the water too. Like, it just ain't gonna be alive. You not just, you wind up with a chair and I see it.
So the thing would be for that not to happen again. We talked about this. It may have been different if the woman had swung the chair. The thing would be, I
Yeah.
didn't see anyone attempting to stop anything from that group. Like, if we were all out there at some point, me, I'm going, okay, guys, we got to stop.
Well. At first, the first black guy that ran in, he was trying to break it up.
Right.
He was actually trying to move people. Hey, it's all good. It's
I
all
didn't see
good.
anybody from the other side try to stop
Oh no,
because
no,
they
no,
could
no.
have. There should have been some. It was like, oh my God, this is guys, stop. This has gone too far.
It
Right.
it it escalated so fast, and
So
we
now
see it now. And
we,
the hindsight is more now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Of
yeah,
whoa versus the reactional part of I'm glad they got hit. It is what it is. Get them, and they
yeah.
got what they deserve. You know what I'm saying? Like your the mortality portion of it, your mind should kick in and be like, yeah,
This is crazy. And people are watching us. And again, that's why there's so much video footage, because you got a whole boat of people going, are you serious?
But like you said, though, think about what has been taught for generations and upon generations for you to even not even look around at your surroundings, to be that comfortable to say, you know
Exactly.
what? I'm gonna take it in my own hands, knowing my numbers are out.
Right.
I put it this way: let's flip the situation.
Okay.
If you flip it, do you think 9 times out of 10 that us as black people would allow that situation to happen, or are we gonna look around at our surroundings and go, "Man, we outnumbered out here, bro, and
Right.
something was to pop
We're
off"?
not getting ready
You
to
see
do
how we
this.
think differently?
Yeah.
We think with rational minds
Yeah.
because of our past traumas and our past things that have been
Right.
passed on through us. Like, nah, we ain't about to act up out here. Hey, let's get this
The,
boat. Let's move out the way.
right. Because the
We
first
we we
time,
cool like that.
right, the first time the captain went over the bullhorn and said, "Hey, could the owner of," he said he called out 5 times. They sat in the water trying to get in for 45 minutes. For 45 minutes, but we to come out and go, "Give me the keys, move it out the way." And the captain said, he said, in most cases, because boaters are cool people, he says, the deckhand got off with it, just the keys are already in there. They would have moved it back. It would not have been it would not
Right.
have been an issue. So it's like, okay, you just didn't care at all. Like bump all of y'all.
Yeah. It happens that way. When you
Yeah.
when you take it in and you think about other communities and how they were raised and the privilege within the
Yeah.
the portion that they give to this country to think that they are privileged and move the way that they move, rightfully so. Hey, think about it. Nah, it is what it is.
So they've made national news. National news.
Congratulations.
Because
You played yourself.
this is, I mean, it's gone all over the country, and I don't think that anyone is in their favor based upon what they've done. Do I care? No.
I'm here to tell you
I
right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
Jeff,
I don't. I just but I'm just like, wow, like, okay, y'all just, you know, um, no consideration for anyone. I would love to be a fly on the wall at their house about right now. Like somebody going, man, how we getting ready? What we getting ready to?
And remember me,
How we gonna fix this?
I think you and I, we talked about it that night, and I was like, we got to be prepared for retaliation because now this slick goes into race war type stuff. You know what I'm saying? That we have to be
Right.
prepared
Over
for. Like,
over
think
moving
about
a
it.
boat. Right.
This didn't even have to go there.
Right. Over moving a boat. Are you serious? On it,
Hmm.
and you know the rules and regulations. You were parked there. You were asked to move over. Exactly. And I'm sure that there's, they got friends and family and support of what they did. They were wrong, and it was. I just think it was just how ignorant, not ignorant, but how ignorant can you be? And it's
There's
just
some people
ignorant.
out there that want to do it that way.
Yeah.
The most. This is the part where they effed around and they found out. And that's the
Yeah.
part that I just look at where it's like, you guys could have been totally different. Could have went
Yeah.
home, could have had your business, could have been moving as normal, but you decided to
Yeah.
take your privilege, portion of it into your own hands. And
Congratulations. You
So
played
someone's
yourself.
there's a comment here that says just a thought with all the press makes you wonder if this was meant to distract us or what it was meant to distract us from. And I agree. There's very possible. What music you got trying to? What you stop? Is it a distraction? It is because there's still other things that we could be concerned about. It absolutely. I agree. Um, but I think it's one of those things because it got so, as Jamal said, because it got so out of hand so quickly, and what it appeared to be, and I'm not sure that it was just racist. It's just absolutely ignorant people. Um, that it escalated and it went from there. Absolutely, and so there because it was made to seem initially as we got the footage that it was a racial thing, but just ignorant people, and I'm just, maybe
loved
it's
it.
me. Stop
Loved
it.
it. This is what happens when us as black people, they keep trying us as people, and just imagine if we were to actually cooperate and stop just because you and I look at each other in a different aspect. Every man ain't out here to fight each other. Every black man shouldn't be out here. Every woman shouldn't be out here. You know, we should be treating each other as kings and queens. And if we unite the way that a lot of other communities unite,
Yeah.
it would be very scary. And they know that. You know, they know that. And I'm talking about racists know that. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, just honest, man. Y'all, we gotta look within. We gotta look within. Look within.
So these things, I agree, can be a distraction and unfortunate. I'm glad that no one was seriously injured because it could have gotten completely out of control. But again, I have no sympathy for whatever is going to happen to that particular family and those their friends that were with them. I think you're going to get what you deserve legally. Um, and the fact that you are plastered all on social media and possibly ruined to some degree, I say so be it. Absolutely, so be it. Because you did not have to go there. You simply had to move that damn boat a few feet back, let the Harriet come on in, and that'd have been the end of discussion. Done deal. So, okay. All right. So that's our end of news. I have a funny though. I know we talked about the dog man last week. You know, he tried to enter a dog show.
How'd it go for him?
Congratulations. You
They
played
didn't.
yourself.
They didn't allow him to enter, but he's so mental health, mental health, mental health.
This is this was the dumbest, stupidest. I don't even understand that one. That's funny to me. That's funny.
Yeah, mental health. Okay. All right, so that's our end of news for this week, and we'll keep us posted. And someone says this is serious. You should have a healthy fear of us. Yeah, because
It's too much of us is dangerous. We so dangerous. We so dangerous.
is that a
Yep.
song?
It's a Busta Rhymes song. Yes.
Okay.
Called
Okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Hold your breath. We're swinging it from right to left.
Yeah. Again, I don't advocate violence, but we did come together because it was no reason for them to have attacked that man in the manner of which they did at all. And for that, I have no sympathy for them and whatever.
Congratulations. You
I
played
hope they can
yourself.
scrounge up, but that's a lot of legal fees. I know that much. That's a lot of legal fees. Yeah, they didn't mortgage the grocery store. They didn't pull out the penny jar. That's a lot of legal fees. A lot of legal fees. Yeah, absolutely. You know. But anywho. Okay, so listen. Let's go to the bottom half and let's talk about relationships. What did you call them? Situationships?
I had something off the fly in my head that I
Yeah.
thought about.
So I'm always on social media, kind of looking at things. I think for me, social media is a good thing. Depending on how it's used. So
Absolutely.
I came across, yeah, I came across this comedian, and I wanted to get his name. He was joking about the fact he missed his curfew one evening. He said, when I looked up, he said, when you with your girl, he said, you got a curfew, but no grown ass woman is going to tell you what that curfew is. You just kind of supposed to know. So he said he missed his curfew. He looked up, the sun was up. So he checked himself into the emergency room and came home in the hospital nightgown, like he had been in an emergency room, trying to play off the fact he had missed his curfew, right? And so this brought me to a discussion about. So then I'm listening to another young lady, and they're having a discussion sort of about marriage and relationships. And I posted in our Facebook page, and she's having a conversation where evidently, I don't know if it was her personally, but she's married, and she finds out that the husband has a mistress. We now call him side chick, who confronted her to tell her that she was messing with her husband. And so the wife, this young lady, says she made this decree that, you know what? Okay, always loved you, always wanted to be with you. And never thought about breaking up with you, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay together, raise a child, pretend like we love each other, but I'm going to be with other people and you can too. And as long as you don't bring me any disease or babies, that's how we're going to live. And so
Wait. That was their setup?
that was what she was after she found out that the husband had a side chick, but she said to him, "Okay, because you can't be the only person in this relationship that's thought about wanting to be with
Doing
someone
anything.
else, right?
Right.
But your side, and I thought we had this life, but your side chick stepped to me and told me that evidently what I thought we had, we don't. But she's opting not to get divorced. She said we're going to stay together. We're going to have this house. We're going to raise our daughter. We're going to make this money. But I'm going to be with other people. That's not how she said it. You can too. Just don't bring me any outside babies and no diseases. I want to have a
Okay, now I
discussion
get it.
on what I want to talk about our healthy relationships and where she let me add this piece. The other piece was she was saying that she didn't necessarily think that marriage was important because she referenced when DMX died about 2 or 3 years ago, his partner that he had been with for over 20 years didn't get anything because it wasn't down on paper. You don't have to be married to ensure that your partner is covered and protected in case something were to happen to you. So I think that that's weak there in you mean to tell me in the 20 years you were together y'all never had a conversation that said, okay, for those of you who don't believe in marriage, we're not going to get married, but you're my girl, we got this house together and all of that. I want to make sure you're going to be taken care of and vice versa. So she just had what I call a different view on marriage. But I'm trying to, let's talk about what does a healthy relationship look like? What do our relationships look like? Why do we have to discuss curfews in our marriage, in our relationships, in our situations? Why do we have to discuss curfew? What's a respectful, reasonable time to come in if you're hanging out with the boys or the girls and your sorority sisters came to town and y'all what's healthy? Where do we draw the line? What's healthy?
It's a good question. The reason why I do not have all the answers to that is because it's whatever works with your spouse. You know what I'm saying? I think this all goes down to a portion of, and understand certain things in life change. Job wise, you may have personal things that come up in your life. Things do change in dynamics of relationships. Let me make that very clear before I go on. I think that, and some people are going to look at this and say, there's no way you think this way. Me, personally, there's no way you think this way. But this is honestly how I think. You don't need to bring situations up to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the type, are you okay? And what I mean by that, and I'm gonna just use this as an example, even though this is the truth with me. And well, the people around us know, but I'll just use my wife and I. We never discussed how many people you were sleeping with before we got together. The reason being, I feel like certain subjects, it shouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because if I come back at you and I'm a clean bill of health, and I mean no
Right.
diseases, nothing of this
Right.
nature, none of that.
Right. Right.
What difference does it make before I got with you? If I make you happy now, why should that change your attitude or your perception of me just because of how many people I've been with? Regardless of, people have a past. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
if this is a thing where you're gonna lose out on somebody because of that and what they call now a body count, I don't care for it.
Oh, is
That's
that
me though.
okay? So that's what they call it, a body count. That's how you refer to it. But Marcus,
Yeah.
I see your comment because we don't understand boundaries. So that's what I'm asking. What's healthy. So I understand, I respect your position because, of course, I'll be transparent that I've, been married more than once, but been divorced for many years now. And so, I agree with you on there. And I had an aunt who's deceased, and she said, well, some things you just take to your grave anyway. But in reasonable speaking, if you're in a relationship, there's certain things you do. Like you might want the person that you with go, okay, I spent 10 years in prison. You need to know that.
You should know that.
You know,
Absolutely. I
you
agree. I agree
you need
with
to know
that.
that. You need to know
Yeah.
that perhaps
I
I was
hope.
abused. You need to know perhaps that I was abused as a child, because I'm carrying that into, and vice versa, because I'm carrying that into my relationship. But why do we have to, and this happens so often, why do we have to talk about things like what's a reasonable time for you to come home? I mean, where's the respect? Um, is marriage obsolete? And I'm fine that people do and don't necessarily. I'm not advocating. I think it's a wonderful thing. I think part of what's happened to our community of people of color is that we've gotten so casual, because our marriage isn't just about us. It's about family, community, and all of that. And when we don't have that, I draw strength from your relationship, and you draw strength from, you know, our family, environment from that. And I think we've gotten so casual with it that we can joke about, oh my, I missed my curfew, man. So, and he was joking, but he probably, in the backdrop of the joke, it was probably some truth. He was like, man, so
I always say behind every joke is some truth.
right. But reasonably speaking, in any respectful relationship, you know darn well that you can't be coming in the house with the son.
I'll
That
say it this way. That goes along with my title of saying you gotta understand and know what type of partner you have. And I'm gonna use this
right,
as an example. This is being me. Rami walks in hypothetically at 5 in the morning. Now, me, I'm not gonna trip. But people, and this is why I say what our relationship is our relationship. I'm not going to trip off that. Number one, I'm not going to trip off of it because Rami doesn't go out every night to be out that long. So I've
right,
already said in my mag,
right.
if she's out until 5 o'clock or whatever the case may be, I will say, hey, I might shoot her a text. Are you good? Libby can attest to it too. Are you good? The reason why I put out there, are you good, is to make sure and to give me that transparency that, hey, I'm straight. Regardless of what you're out there doing, look, you could be out there doing whatever it is and still be back before curfew. Does that make it any better? It doesn't matter because a
No,
person stays out there until 5 o'clock and does whatever they do. My point of it is that at the end of the day, what you are going to do is going to catch up. It's going to be a lot. It literally is what it is. And so
well,
for
that
you to say, hold on, for you to say because they walk in at 5 o'clock, you good, you straight. 9 times out of 10, Rami's going to tell me something that happened for it to be until 5 o'clock.
okay.
So there's an understanding that we've already had.
No,
That's
so
the part that a lot of people miss out on. That's just me
yeah,
though.
no, I get it because it is based upon relationship. I'm just laughing because Marcus says, "No, sir, my wife cannot come in at
And
5 a.m." And
that's
and
I
correct for his
respect that.
relationship, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting that to hear a man say that. But
See my point?
to your point that if we've discussed it, it would not be norm. Then you've got to know there was a reason. But we're talking about being in relationships where that seems to be the norm. Like we're living together, we're married. I don't know whether we've lost love or respect for each other, and respect in the relationship is huge. Whatever that is, that you feel like, you know
Right.
what, I get there when I get there, and
And
that
that's why I
that
brought
isn't
both
healthy
sides
to
of it.
me. Right,
But that's why I brought up both sides of it. Like,
right,
okay, now if you're out there every night, hello. You know what I'm saying? You just, you just, I don't even understand why you guys are even in a relationship. Like certain things to
Correct.
me just make sense to me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I can't
Yeah.
speak for other people because other people got more different other things going on in their relationship that I wouldn't allow. There are boundaries for me that I would be like, no, okay, that I'm not dealing with that. But to them, it's cool. So
So when we talk about that, is it
know your
okay to have
partner.
true? Is it okay to have friends of the opposite sex?
Absolutely. My best friend is a female. Rami knows her. They kicked
Okay.
it. Matter of fact, Rami met my best friend before I could introduce them, like person to
Okay.
person. So,
Okay.
for me, absolutely. And I love when people say, they look at it and they go, "Your best friend is a female." Absolutely. My best friend's a female. Been there
Okay.
ever since. Shoot, I think we were 8. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Our parents
Okay.
know each other's parents. The whole mommy knows the entire background behind us.
Okay.
They have their own relationship.
Okay.
So
Okay.
once that you put at ease to your spouse or the one that you're with of the relationship, that should take care of itself.
But let me say this, but your female best friend is respectful of your marriage. Because
Absolutely.
I've seen situations where maybe it's not a best friend, but it's the girl that you've known since high school forever, and I've seen them be kind of curt or catty, so to speak, or say things like, but I know him, and it's like, okay, you do know him, but I'm his wife, and vice versa. And I think
Absolutely.
there's some comments, or you should catch yourself on certain things that you say to make that inappropriate, because it is to some degree absurd. So, prime example, I have 3 friends that I've known for many years. One is divorced now, who are all sister friends who are all married. If you ask their husbands, I'm that other sister. But my mother taught me as a young girl how to be respectful around someone else's man, so to speak. So I have one dear friend. She lovingly calls me her husband's other wife. We joke about if something happened to him, we gonna both get to the hospital. They're gonna be real confused, like, who am I talking to? And we gonna tell them, both of us. But if I go to her home and she's not there, I don't go in. We've been friends almost over 30 plus years. Same way with my other. But if you ask them, it's like, Kim, that's my sister. Right? I like, if we're having family stuff or they got, how many sisters you got? They say, okay, and Kim, I forgot. And they all are that way. But I've been the single woman although I've been married, I've been a single friend for a very long time. But again,
Right.
based upon how I know I would want to be treated, I've always never done anything that would, I don't know if it's inappropriate, or that he would not
Hey, baby.
feel comfortable with me being around his wife. And so again, I've kind of, gone in, and I had wife friends the same way. It's like, okay, Kim, from that respect. But I've seen friends say and do different things when they meet the new girlfriend or the new wife, and it's like, you didn't quite need to say that way. And so then it's put in, but then again, you got to know it's a conversation you have up front. So I'm assuming you told Rami up front, by the way, my best friend happens to be a female, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And like I
Okay.
said, there, and please, Rami, if
Yeah.
please type in something, because if folks to think that I'm lying about this or whatever, like they have their legit own relationship. They can call
And
each other,
that's,
they text each other on their
yeah.
own, on the side and stuff. Know plenty of stuff that needs to be
Yeah.
known. They know, about
Yeah.
everything. And that's one thing that I just look at. You gotta just
So it's a
have them
health
uncomfortable
it's a
conversations.
healthy relationship. So for
Absolutely.
those who don't know, I'm a military, I'm a Navy veteran. So I have I know a lot of men, and I belong to a military organization. And if I were to get in a relationship with someone now that would say, you can't be in that group no more. One of my best friends is my barber. And in fact, he's family, right? We're
Right.
birthday twins. If you said to me, well, you can't, I got to get
Shout
my
out to
barber
Uncle
up.
Carl.
Shout out to Uncle Carl and Off the Hook Barbershop. But Carl and I, Carl been cutting my hair over 30 something years. That's, he's so much is he family that when Libby got her first cell phone, one of the in case of emergency phone numbers was Uncle Carl. Carl got married,
That's a
and when
fact.
he's divorced now, but when Carl got married many years ago, one of the first things he did was he introduced his fiance at that time. He was like, "You got to meet him," and she and I had a very cordial, to your point, cordial relationship from that. Now, Carl and I don't have feelings like that, but it's nothing for me to go into the shop and sit. We sit and talk. We hug, all of those different things. But I've known folks to say, I got to give up my barber. I can't be with my military group because there's too many men in that group." But I told you before, I got I got there.
That's
I've seen
triggered.
people.
That's triggered emotions from other relationships that they
Yeah,
have not actually taken care of before they got into the new relationship. Because there's no way, if I've had a relationship with my best friend, now I have to cut that relationship off now because it only makes you happy. There's an issue that you have not, as a person, handled before I got to give up my friend, knowing
correct,
that between our relationship, there has never been anything, and we've kept everything 100 with
correct,
each other. Rami
correct.
even knows. Me and Jasmine, we dated for a couple of months when we was in high school. And then once we figured it out, like, this ain't us. What we doing? Why are we even
Right,
trying this?
right.
We back to being best friends. Like, it was nothing. It wasn't awkward. It wasn't no like, man, why is she with him? Or why is he with her? It was, hey, what are you doing? He likes you or she likes you. And we kept on as brother and sister that we are to this second. So to see people do certain things because they have not dealt and done their homework on the person that they with, that oftentimes irks the hell out of me because now you have to get, now mine is good. Let me make this very clear too, to the other side. Mine is good. But I
Hmm.
have seen dirty relationships where people have covered up people to make them seem like they were good. And then all of the fact or all the
Right.
while they was doing their dirt and doing their thing with that other. That I have
Correct.
seen the other side of too.
Okay. Libby says people in my age group aren't like that. I'm not sure what she means. So maybe like they don't have an issue with that or whatever. Because I know it,
It
it,
was
it
speaking on what you
changes.
were talking about earlier.
Okay. But for me, it's about respect. And so then here's the other piece of what she said. And I want to go back to this because we talked about this a few weeks ago, even when we were talking about how you planning for your future. We don't have to be married for you to ensure that I and vice versa are taken care of. I need us to learn how to handle our business. I am still, and it's a little bit off the subject, I am still profoundly lost that Aretha Franklin didn't have a valid will that was drawn up by an attorney. So now your kids are fighting. You have to learn how to, if there's something you want me to take care, particularly when there are children involved, but we didn't get married, then you have to learn how to handle your business so there's no reason why someone who had been in a relationship for somebody for 20 years, he or she dies and I have nothing to show for that because it wasn't down on a piece of paper. Marriage has nothing to do with ensuring that we're taking care of each other. And I can't imagine that you're not having those conversations in a 20-year relationship. You're not having
Right.
those kind of conversations.
Right. Like you gotta know that eventually in some way, shape, form, we could be cordial. You know what I'm saying? That you're with somebody. And I agree with Marcus. Like for the most part, now if I'm there like for a trip or something like that, it like something happens, I give that. You know, that's there's understandings to everything. But my best friends, And I have a guy who's a best friend of mine, Jamal. He was my best man the whole nine. He's married, and to see him and his wife, she's my sister. You know what I'm saying? Dominique
Right.
is on here.
Right.
Dominique is married. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The
Right.
Katie, that's his wife. That's my sister. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
once my boys, my brothers, I speak like
Correct.
that. They are
Correct.
they are that way. I feel we have an understanding on both ends. They should feel comfortable enough, as vice versa. I feel comfortable enough of them being around my
Absolutely.
spouse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Women know, like Rami said earlier, women know women, men know men. So I know who I could sit my wife around and I can be like, cool. And I know if I was to hypothetically leave that room, you're not going to get it. But I know hypothetically, if you was to be in the room with that one, I know what to expect. Now, first of all, I don't hang with those types now in my life. That's a number
Correct.
one portion of it. Used
Correct.
to, but I don't hang. There's none of my boys that I look at sideways that I would be like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? To my it for that question to even ponder in my head the way I think, and trust me, Rami knows how I think. If for somebody to come in that mindset, you've done something well before for me to even think that way. And I've already peeped up something in you. I watch people, whether they think that I watch them or not. I watch. And vice versa. I hope you watch me too. If I am around, your spouse or whatever. But also with that being said, your intentions should be great, knowing that your woman is safe around me.
Right.
You
Because
ain't got
I'm
nothing to
not.
worry about.
Right, because as someone has said, I have boundaries, and so that's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
So your wife just became another sis, the same way, I take even our relationship when you came to church the first time, you and Rami, and for most people, because you do call me Auntie Kim, just assume that by blood,
Yeah.
and that's not the case. And my pastor's wife, she kind of joked. She said, "Because Kim, you don't look like." Because we've had this conversation about another nephew. I'm not going to name names, who didn't have a conversation with his significant other about our relationship. And so the dynamics of it has changed. And so my pastor's wife, she said, "Because Kim, you don't look like the average auntie." Well,
Correct.
I don't, I guess, because we got this thing of what aunties look like. But
Right.
as I say to people, but we just like, and for people who don't, I'll go here. We had this conversation when you got ready to get married to Rami and Libby was in your wedding.
Facts.
I had not met Rami yet. I said to you, "Jamal, have you told her about us? She understands our relationship." And you said yes. And we went from there. But I didn't actually meet Rami till I think maybe y'all were getting married. One, because I wanted
Yeah.
to ensure that she understood, because you're Libby's goddad, that she understood the dynamics of that relationship. But you were also my go-to, being single mom and that type of thing. But so I didn't want her acting crazy like, why she on the phone calling you again? She ain't got nobody else and go over and do that. I've seen those things happen. And I'm
You've
like,
seen exactly.
but you call me
Both of
Auntie
us.
Kim. What other way does she think
Right.
this is going?
Right.
But I have another nephew who I've known before you, although you're younger. And he was over here last year doing something here at the house, and his significant other did not appreciate the time he was spending over here. And she said something that I thought was particularly unkind. And it changed the dynamic of our relationship. And I've known him since she was a child. And I said recently, to his mother, I said, he must not have had the conversation with her that you and I had about your
Absolutely.
situation. And so the
Absolutely.
whole dynamic of that, he calls me auntie. So what did she think was going on when he came over here? But he's been doing that forever. And so you got to have those kind of conversations because to some degree now it's absolutely ridiculous that you feel threatened with my nephew being over here in my house.
But this goes back to the point of what I said. Some people and how they were raised and the past traumas that they have from relationship status, they've been hurt. And they've also seen people or men or women, vice versa, depending on who it
Right.
is, that have been around that you know doggone well shouldn't have been around. And I'm gonna use myself. And if he sees this, he understands exactly what I'm talking about. I'm old enough and I saw enough. When I knew my parents were married at the time, and we would take rides, my dad and my dad would tell me when I was young, "Oh, it's your auntie." I've never seen this auntie ever. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 100% transparent, people. I love speaking like this because I feel like you have to get those traumas off of you and not hide. I have no reason to hide my feelings on what I've seen in my life because I know that I'm getting better to want to be better about my life and how I'm trying to change the narrative of the generational curses that have been bestowed on us my whole life. So my pops would tell me, and some other guys out here in this world would know what I'm talking about when I speak like this. My dad was the type that'd tell me, "Oh, we going over to your auntie's house. My mom ain't never met this auntie before. My mama don't know this auntie." But I had this oath as a young child because of how I was raised. You don't speak on certain stuff. Now I'm grown now,
Right.
knowing exactly how bad that sounded, but when you're in
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
growing stages of life,
Right.
you don't
Right.
understand the things that are passed down
Right.
to you that don't
Right.
make sense, but you're doing them anyway. And because we
Right.
haven't targeted and worked on that chapter in our life to be honest with ourselves, yes, I'm giving a little bit of the game up. It is what it is, but I'm helping others to understand that you don't have to do it that way. My
Right.
dad didn't have to do it that way. He didn't have to tell me that it's cool to have women around and just say, you know what, this is a friend. And even my mom knows about this friend and it's all good. No, 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 no. She shouldn't have never been around. She ain't my
Correct.
auntie. Let's
Correct.
let's keep it a buck. And that's the part that now that I push for Libby, whenever we ride, it ain't never gonna be a surprise if she was to see, "Oh, this is your aunt. I've never heard of this one." So
Right.
she could look
Right.
at me instantly and be like, "Something ain't right with this situation."
Nor
No,
put her
that ain't about
and
to
nor
happen.
put and to your point, and nor put people in that situation per, per se. So valid in there, and then so that's again why we end up with these unhealthy, even when it comes down to the aunties and uncles and that type of thing. You have to have those type of conversations, and so even you and I had that conversation. My other nephew did not have that conversation. And the other piece, which is kind of crazy, is that given the age difference in the first place, okay, but all sorts of things take place, so I get it. But she's missing out because now that that division has come, you know, it changed the dynamic. So again, have the conversations. My best friend is this is Auntie so and so. You know what I'm saying? You have those kind of conversations so that you understand what they're doing. If you protect the people that you love, but I just think as a whole, as a people, part of the breakdown when we are so lax or comfortable, and I'm not judging, is that our whole family, our community is broke down because we just real trifling in our relationships and how we handle business. And I don't care what anyone says, respect for home and your partner will never get old. It just won't.
It won't.
Period.
I
End
agree.
of discussion. Respect will
I agree.
never get old. Protecting home will never get old. Not allowing and there's occasions where you might have to tell best friend, you know what, whether your partner is felt that way or not. Sometimes, people say things and you got, baby, where was you going with that one? You know, those type of things you have to have if you're trying to protect, because from a woman, when a woman feels that she is respected and protected, we so you went out and you came in, to your point, it chances are at this rate, I kind of know, to your point, I kind of know where you were, who you was
You
with,
knew
and
who I
what you
was
was
hanging
doing
with,
anyway.
so I already know y'all kicking it that way. It, okay,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
this ain't a norm anyway, so
right.
whatever.
But that is continual and habitual is what I'm going to call it. I go back to, so
Absolutely,
why are we in this relationship if you choose to continue to be out in the streets? And it goes both ways.
absolutely.
I'm not just siding on men. Women do the
Right,
same. And
right,
it's
right.
like,
Absolutely.
sis, what you doing?
Yeah,
Where we going with this? We not,
yeah.
because it would be vice versa if I'm riding with, my best friend and we end up with, girl, your husband called me his sister. We not, I
Yeah.
can't do this.
Right.
And we've been friends for so
Right.
long, so I've never heard you mention whoever this is. He ain't been to the house and to the barbecues, and so at this age, I'm not being privy to this. I'm not. And I'll give a prime example as we're talking about parents. My parents did not marry, but I had a relationship with my biological father, and I'm just aware of some things. And even though for a long time his wife didn't necessarily care for me, I still had a respect for who she was. And there's just certain things you can't do that. You just,
Beautiful
yeah,
you. You're a beautiful
yeah,
specimen. I put it that way because
yeah,
ain't no way in
yeah,
hell.
yeah.
You know what? I'm on a different mindset now, and this is something I'm going off the real. I'm gonna bring it back, y'all. I promise you. But I just got to say this. I feel like regardless of generations, respect is respect. Living
Correct.
now is officially 21. I'll just use because we're all in this. And if there's other people in this outside of this country right now watching us, we appreciate you. Hit that like button and subscribe. We appreciate y'all. But if they are in this country, I think once you're 21, you're known as an adult. I treat Libby now as an adult. Yes, she is my baby. She's our baby. We look at her as still a child in certain aspects of looks wise and what we remember the old days and stuff like that. But now she has matured. She's grown into a woman. She has her own life to live, so on and so forth. I think there is a humongous issue in our mentals, and I think this it doesn't even matter the the race of anyone. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
It's the
Right.
mere fact of respect. You have people from your generation, my generation, Libby's generation, right? Oh, I can say such and such to you, da 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 da. You can talk to me however you want to talk to me, but I have to sit up there and respect you by because you're older than me, you should
Mm-hmm.
be able to talk to me however you want to. That's not the case with me. Allow people, hey, if I'm coming at you with respect, I would like the same in return. You're not going to
Right.
speak crazy to me and on
Right.
my watch and think that
Right.
I'm going to allow that to happen. You
Right.
got the right one with me. So that's
Right.
why, even with Libby, I try with Libby, we talk now. And now I meet
Mm-hmm.
her as an adult on layman's terms. Yes, it's certain things, obviously, that's a given. You ain't stumbled through certain things in your life. And I get that portion of what to look forward to as this life, that journey continues for yourself. But there's no way I'm gonna talk crazy to her and she not give it back to me because now she's an adult. Respect her as an
Right.
adult. It should be on both.
Right.
It should be a clear understanding of that. But I feel like older generations carry that way out of context and just run with that. That's out of
And they
pocketness to me.
and
And
I
nobody
agree.
gets checked
Dominique,
behind that. I'm sorry.
yeah. I'm sorry, no, Dominique is raising a question. Is there a standard to respect or is it subjective to each person? I'm going to say at my age, there is a standard of respect. And then maybe the next level is based upon the person. but there's a standard of respect. I Jamal and I have a relationship, and part of that, and Rami is part of that. But I respect Jamal's marriage.
Absolutely.
Period. There's a standard of respect. Whether I am or not a blood auntie, whatever the case may be, I respect. Carl and I have been dear friends. I respect his relationships, and vice versa. So there's a to me there's a standard of respect, and that it's a good question because that's where the problem comes in. No, what you we don't have this stand. It's like, well, no, there's a standard of respect, and then it's subjected to how your relationship with each individual person. You know, to that degree, I've seen aunties and uncles and whatever be disrespectful to the wife or whatever. Like I'm gonna say no, that is his or her significant other spouse, and you need to be respectful, because even you as a blood or whatever you may be can say things that can be taken out of context and that are disrespectful. And I've seen that cause problem in relationships as well, because every time I get around your auntie, she talking about your ex-girlfriend, and she thinks
Right.
she can have that conversation. You know darn well, auntie, that's disrespectful.
That's
You know
disrespectful.
it's
Like, why are you
disrespectful.
doing that? And my thing behind that is nobody's there to check that auntie and put that auntie
Right.
in the place because people are so scared to put a grown, a person, a elderly person in check. Why is it everybody else needs to be put in check except for the elderly? Aren't
Right.
they supposed
Or
to be the ones teaching? Or they can't
yeah.
do any
Or
wrong once you get to a certain age?
right.
Nah,
And I've seen
nah.
that, so it calls or the uncle that it's like unc. No, that was
You
and
know that
it's
wasn't
and
right,
it's
Unc.
but again, because it's been allowed to go on. But these are all the little things as we're talking about it. They can
Right,
cause different things to go on in our relationship, which means that they then become unhealthy. And so for
right.
me, there is an absolute level of respect that you could and should give anyone based upon the relationship. And then you kind of go from there. But I just feel we need to get back to just really being conscious about our intimate relationships with our
Absolutely.
partners. If it's your partner, your situation, your significant other. I am divorced, but I think marriage is a wonderful thing. The sanctity of it, I believe that it should be respected. But I would no less disrespect your common law partner from that degree. But there has to be, but in the same token, so I can treat you one way because we're common law, but I would treat you differently if you was my wife. Really? It's the same.
That's that's
We
different.
living
Yeah,
together. We intimate.
yeah.
We have children. No.
Right,
And why is
right.
that so? Why is that also that way? And I'm growing weary of seeing some of the things that go on. This whole checking each other's cell phones, that is the most.
I've said that
That is the
too many
most.
years.
As a husband
Mm,
and wife, there isn't anyone or anything in my cell phone that you can or cannot see.
yeah,
There isn't any reason why you couldn't answer my cell phone. I just
yeah.
I find, but to the degree that we're literally fighting that this is a thing, are you serious? And so I go back again. So why are you in this relationship? I'm gonna go here. Stop having babies with folks you don't really want to be involved with like that. Now y'all stuck together forever because you never stop being what? And then you realize, oh girl is, and then we got this cycle of foolishness going on. That's my thought on that. Just healthy. But let me say this, the stipulation that the young lady made when she said, "Okay, so we're going to stay together and you do this." That's not uncommon. I High society, if you will, A lot of those people live up under those type of arrangements. I hope y'all read between the high society. But again, where is the love? Where is the commitment? Where is the do or die in that? And if you cannot be in a healthy relationship or you don't know what that looks like, my suggestion is you to stay single, but don't get trapped up and caught up in it like that.
Well, now, well, now look at how relationships are pushed. You get tired of it, just get out of it. Regardless of whenever you get married,
Yeah.
we don't put
Yeah.
we don't invest any time into really truly learning the person before we get married. And that's any age. We're talking about how things are moving now versus the generations. Because I've seen even older generations are moving this way too. So it has nothing to do with actual generations. It's the time and what is being pushed out there. The narrative of the old school, somewhat mentality of things are pushed out. Get with somebody. Y'all be talking for a month and a half, maybe. Let's say a year. They feel like they know enough within that year. Oh, we get married. You know enough. You know everything that you need to know to go to that next level. Like you have already been through your fights and your arguments, all that's behind you now. Oh yeah, we've had little, arguments here and there, but we hardly ever fight. I wonder why you guys are still in that honeymoon stage. Like you
Right.
ain't dealt with each other. Like when that person's breath really stinks. Now I know, oh, it kind of smells and y'all cool and you can kiki about it. No, you can deal with that ashy back foot, that heel that that ain't never seen no lotion or Vaseline ever a day in its life. You willing to deal with that one that wake up with that hot mouth. You're willing to deal with all those types of things. They fart on you and they fart while you eating. You didn't know that they farted, and you can deal with all that type of stuff. Like people gloss over a lot of stuff when they in that honeymoon
True.
stage that they don't pay
True.
attention. I'm
True.
talking on a smart. It sounds
No.
funny, but it's on a minor scale that
Oh,
people just
absolutely.
don't pay attention to that blow up into bigger things because of other situations.
Absolutely. My former pastor said that you really need to date someone through all seasons. How does this person handle anger?
Absolutely.
How does this person handle grief? I met a young lady that used to come to our sister circle of mentorship, and the father of her child did not come to the hospital when she was giving birth to their daughter because he didn't like hospitals. And then she was like, well, because his mom said, because when his dad, what? And this is why, and we're going to go here, courting versus day shift. This is why back in the day, he had to come to the house
You had to come to
and
the
sit
house. You had to
among the
meet the family.
aunties and meet everybody up in the parlor and sit there and who your people, what church you go to, what you do for a living, what you thinking about doing for a living. I know your auntie. Baby, go in there and fix a plate. And they were even looking at you saying, honey, that ain't because I say things that live now. I try not, I was like, Libby, you can soften that just a little bit. Those type of things. That's why does he, you brought up in church and she don't want to go to church. Well, then, so are you okay that she continues to go, but you not gonna go, or vice versa? You're two different. You're two different religions. Y'all didn't discuss that beforehand to figure out what we were going to do there with that. You got to have those kind of conversations because it's interesting to know that, oh my God, she just got mad and threw a whole chair across the room.
Out of
So
nowhere.
you didn't know how she handled anger before y'all got married. Or
Right.
did you know it and choose to ignore it because you like, what, because she looks so good and second so good. I don't care that she tossing chairs. Well, now 3 years in, now you do because you just got hit with a chair.
Right. Right. A folding right one
Right?
at that. Yeah.
Exactly. Whatever color it was. Or that you realize, yes, she was cute and all that, but she has no idea how to be a parent, how to be a mother.
Fine is all outdoors, but
Fine,
don't
sex off the
know,
chain,
but
but
can't,
now you
but
have a
can't count.
child.
But yeah, can't count for nothing. Can't hardly read. I've seen it to where it's like, why are
Yeah.
you with this? But she look fine. She bad as ever. And it's like, you're that superficial that you
Right.
choose not to want to be better. Rami challenges me
Yeah.
each and every day to be better as a man.
Yeah.
That is something that
Yeah.
I commend her for because I'll use example. I use something I went through today, and this is very true for me. Um, Dealing with a situation that I know I was treated unfairly in, and having to be around that person. I felt I passed it with flying colors to a certain extent. The reason why I say certain extent, I have to gauge, and this is also new to me, but I had to gauge in how to handle my emotions internally, um, for them to truly not affect me in every single aspect. Like being around
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you've been done wrong by,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
still cordial around them is one thing. But when you're
Yeah.
interacting with them and doing certain things, how do you truly let go to the fullest? That part I'm still
Right.
working on. You know what I'm saying? I'm that honest with myself. Like I want to do something, but I also have to think, to another aspect of it. Now, there is other things that people need to really pay attention to also is that when we say that we're ready for something, just be prepared. Like more, you have
Right.
to prepare yourself for that war within yourself that you have to win within. And that's the
Right.
part that I went
Yep.
into it today is challenging myself. So trust me, it's Marcus, it's another portion of growth, bro. I didn't know I
Yeah.
had in me.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
honest. Like certain things are taken. I feel like are for take men do the same for women. So let me make that clear as well. But I can only speak for myself as a man. We're put in a lot of circumstances where we're always reactional, and to finally use your brain to not be in a situation that can be passed on or carried out in a negative manner.
Right.
I commend any man that tries to be better each and every day, one day at a time. It's just it's definitely something that regardless of whether it's looked at or being it's growth. It's growth. Being
It's growth.
uncomfortable
It's
is
growth.
growth. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? And that's exactly what I had to go through. It's just being in an uncomfortable environment and learning that I could use my mind to grow in that aspect. So trust me, it's different.
Okay. Okay. So listen, family, we're pushing healthy relationships. So know that I just think that's important for who we are as a people, as a community. Have those conversations. Respect is respect. It goes both ways. You got to look at the whole picture. Know what your boundaries are, personal and corporate boundaries. You know what's best for you. Um, and know that sometimes your relationship and your marriage isn't simply about you, it's about the other people that are connected to you. um, how would you want to be treated, all those good things. I'll say again that as mature people, if you're in a relationship where you happen not to be married, you still need to have a conversation where you're providing for that person, however it is, so that they can have the things that you've built and worked together to have. Be mindful of our children, your babies, but you got to have conversations. So if you have a favorite auntie, you need to have that conversation with your significant other. Says, hey, I got an auntie Kim. She's not a blood auntie, but she family. She gonna come through. Sometimes she may call and need something. I'm there. But at the same token, she's never going to call. I'm never going to cause any disrespect. There's not anything to be concerned about, and vice versa. The favorite uncle, whatever that case may be, have those conversations. Make other people respect your relationships. So to Jamal's point, um, if you have to find a loving way to make your mother and father and grandmother, whomever, respect your relationship, listen to what they have to say now. But if it's, you felt that you were with the correct person, and that's, you have to make people respect your relationships. There is nothing worse than feeling unrespected and not supported by your significant other. Okay.
Absolutely.
Again, please please go out and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not done so, our Facebook page, our Instagram page. Give us that support. Contact us via email if there's a subject you would like for us to, talk about after we get through our in the news portions and all the good things. We'll kind of keep coming at you. This is podcast number 4, and we're just going to keep going. We thank you guys so much, but we want to be mindful of your time, and we will, I believe, see you next week. Correct, nephew?
Absolutely.
We'll see you
Oh,
next
next
week.
week. No, no, no. Next
Oops.
week I'll still be here.
Oops.
No, I was gonna say no,
Okay.
no, no. We same time we
Okay.
rolling. Next week, same time. We good.
Okay.
I just know the week after that we'll be in the same building, so we'll be around each other to know that we can
Okay.
have that show. So I'm just happy
Okay.
about that. But let me
Okay.
just say this to other people out there: have those uncomfortable conversations, relationship people. Um, Brahmi and I now we're 12 years into this thing. She my best friend. I didn't know that she would be that. She's been through a lot of tests with me that, bless her heart, I know I'm extremely difficult to be around at times. But the Father knew who I needed to have around me,
Mm-hmm.
which is definitely her. Uh, she treats me more than well, and I can only do as much as I can to try and be that same way with her. Um, and make it reciprocal. But she's dope like that. The thing about it is I knew my mother-in-law first, and me and her are beyond cool. Like I can talk with my mother-in-law because she's such a open woman. And my mom is dope in her own aspect to my wife. So it's like
She
our
is.
dynamic of how we all are and the women that are in my life, how you and Rami are with each other is dope to me. How
Mm-hmm.
Libby and Rami are dope together. How, you know, DJ and Lily, how they are with Rami, and DJ and Lily, how they are with you and with Libby. Like they all get along. We've all been on trips and everything like that
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And to see their dynamics of how they even get along, I think it's dope because we've all had those open conversations to everybody understanding and knowing what position that they play in each and everybody's
Right. Right.
relationship,
Right.
lives. It's just
Right.
knowing the right people, knowing the ones that you have around you. That's why my circle is small,
Right.
and it will continue to stay that way. Because I know who I trust, I know who I believe in, and I know the ones that believe in me as well. So I don't have to second guess my loved ones.
Right.
Look
Yep.
within, people, so you don't have to second guess
Yep.
your loved ones. Look
Yep.
within, because you
Yep.
guys got to have those
Yep.
uncomfortable conversations.
Yep. So respect is huge, and boundaries and having those needed and sometimes tough conversations are very important. We will catch you next Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and thank you for your support. Talk to you soon. Bye, nephew.
Bye, Auntie. Love you.
Bye, guys. Bye. Love you too.